Well, here we are. Finally, time. I have the Oldsmobiles here sitting in the garage. Finally. I know it's been a long winter. I was going to work on these earlier, just never got to it. Had to get the Buick out of the garage first. Well, that's gone now. Had to do some other stuff, some maintenance on a couple vehicles. But now, finally, here we are. I have the gold Olds 98 sitting here. This one we're going to do first. This one doesn't need much. I actually have the wheels and tires for it already. If you've watched some of my previous videos, um, I've got the other appliance Rotolug wire wheels for this with just some cheapy white wall tires. So those are going to go on here soon. And then I just need to get the brake line fixed on this. So of course it is the far back rear driver's side that is bad, but I don't think it's going to be too terrible to get that done. So I already have the line, I have the splice pieces, I have all the goodies to do this. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to try to get that brake line done today. These fender skirts are actually pretty cool the way they come off. There's just a lever right inside here. You just pop up on that and then pull it down. And the whole skirt will drop right out of there. Just like that. So get that out of the way. Let's get this hubcap off here. So normally these are actually fastened on. You have to take this logo off here, this badge in the center, and then there's actually a nut that goes inside there that will fasten to a little piece that's bolted on with the lug nuts. These are not fastened that way right now though, because I took these are actually the original hubcaps off of my black one, and I just threw them on here just to see, make it look a little bit nicer, because when I bought this had some really terrible looking like Walmart hubcaps on it. So I threw these on there just because I wanted it to look nice, even sitting. So we're just going to pop these off. Yeah, not the greatest way to do it, but you get the point. That's off. So now, if this had the centerpiece on there to bolt that hubcap to, there would be like a little dome sticking out here with a stud on it that would have a nut that hubcap would actually fasten to. So be careful if you're ever working on one of these older cars and that hubcap doesn't seem like it wants to come off. Double check that, because a lot of these older cars have that hubcap that is actually fastened to there, and you're going to damage something if you don't take it off the right way. Alright, so this is the first time I've had the wheel off back here and done any looking. So, grab a flashlight and do some investigating here. Alright, so first off, let's check out this frame here. This, I saw dirt there. This actually looks very solid. Yeah, this is pretty clean. I didn't expect there to be any issues under here, because I did look under there underneath the car a little bit just after I bought it, and that's kind of where I determined that it's actually too clean to just be a parts car. So let's pull the brakes off, the drum off. I'm actually surprised that came off that easy. So the drum itself, oh, we got some leaking in there. So we got a bad wheel cylinder, I'm guessing. Yeah, kind of hard to say for sure, but yeah, we got some funkiness going on in here. Keepers out of the way a little bit. It's definitely kind of pushed off center on there. Oh, you know what? This may not even be a wheel cylinder, it might be an axle seal. Yep, we got a bad axle seal. Well, dang it. All right. Well, looks like we're doing axle seals. All right. Not the end of the world, but, you know, kind of didn't really want to. But we'll do that. Yeah, we don't want to be, that's going to, not going to have very good brakes with all the goo coming on the brake shoes there. Well, let's see, how's the bleeder look? Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't think that bleeder's coming loose. It's been replaced before. The line itself is not factory bent, and the nut is rounded quite a bit. So, well, maybe it has been. Maybe it is original. It didn't look bent right, but let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and hose that bleeder down with some penetrating lube, and hopefully we'll be able to get it to come loose. I don't actually see any signs of the wheel cylinder leaking in there at all. So we'll see. All right, so now we're underneath the car, and you can see it's all, sorry about the camera angles here. It's been undercoated, and it actually looks pretty darn good. It's very solid under here. But we'll see here. So you see the brake line there along the frame, and then it comes along there, and it's actually, my flashlight, right here at this bend is where it's actually leaking. So I'm not sure. I do see a little bit of rust on the line right there. Try to get my light on there, right? Yeah, it's not crazy, but it's not exactly great. So I think we're going to cut ahead of that. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to come in right around here, right around this spot, right here, and we're probably going to splice this line right here. So we'll go from there to, of course, this is really awesome. I really love this. Where we have to put it in at is way up in here. And that is a pretty not fun spot to get to. You see there again, that's, aim the camera right here. So right there is where it's leaking, and then it follows this cross member around and then hooks into the flex line over the back axle right there. It's kind of a bad spot. So hopefully that one comes apart without too many issues. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have some work cut out for us, because along with this, I'm also going to now do all the wheel seals, or the axle seals as well. So fun times coming our way. All right, well, I just ran to the store and I picked up a wheel cylinder and a couple of axle seals and a union for the brake line. The 1/4-inch brake line that I had came with a bunch of fittings, so we're all good there. So I already had the old brake line cut out, and I'm going to bend up some tube to match it, and I'm going to get that put in. Now, of course, the pain in the butt part is I don't have enough room on either side of this car to get the axles out to do the wheels or the axle seals. So I'm going to end up, I have to move this car around and do some shimmying once I get the brakes on. So we're going to have to do some moving around. I mean, what do you do? So, well, let's get started on this. All right, well, here is my brake line that I have bent up to match as close as I can to the factory path. It's going to be close. I mean, it'll fit in there good enough. This is the only one that really concerns me, because it was very tight getting this nut out of where it was going to the flexible tube down to the axle. It's a pretty tight spot there, but I think we'll be all right. I think if I can get that in there, I can maybe manipulate that around a little bit to fit what I need to. But other than that, I think this will go in there pretty well. And then once I get this end here in, and the rest of the tube kind of routed, then I will cut and flare this end and get it put together. All right, well, that one is good. That held up just fine. This one here, that one, kind of hard to see, but that held up good. But damn it. I was looking at that spot too, and I thought it'd be all right. Well, those damn clamps get you every time. So back to the drawing board. Now we're gonna replace probably what I should have done in the first place, just replace the whole line. But since I already did this piece here back to the axle, I'm just going to replace from this union forward up to the proportioning valve. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. I'm done for the night. Well, it's the next morning, and went to the town, got some more brake fluid. So we're gonna get that line replaced and see if we can get some brakes in this thing. I got a lot of nasty fluid in that master cylinder to flush out. So, and then eventually too, I gotta flush out that one as well because it probably needs it. So, got a bunch of fluid. Let's get this going. All right, well, there is the proportioning valve, and it actually does not look too bad to get to. A couple clips on the line. Going over this cross member is really the only tricky part. Other than that, it just runs straight down the frame rail right there. So this will be probably not too bad of a job. So first thing I'm going to do here is get these front wheels and tires off, because I want to get some PV blaster on the bleeder screws to hopefully break them loose after I get this done, because I want to put fresh fluid in the whole system and bleed it all out. Make sure we have good, fresh, clean fluid in all of it, because the fluid that was in that front pocket there looked pretty nasty. So we're going to go ahead and flush it all out. So let's get these tires off. All right, well, the old line is out, and it came out pretty easy. Fortunately, on that driver's side there by the frame, it had enough of a gap around that cross member that it was able to slide right out, so no issue there at all. We'll reuse these fittings on either end, and we'll mimic that bend, or all the bends, with this new nickel copper line and get it thrown in. So let's get on it. All right, well, new line kind of sort of mocked up, following the path of the old line. I've got all the clips taken off the old line and put in the new, or on the new line where they should go. So this should actually go pretty easy. So we're gonna get this slipped up underneath the car, and then we're gonna work on busting these bleeders loose here, and then we'll vacuum bleed the whole thing and try to pull some fresh, clean fluid through it. So. All right, well, new line is installed and all the clips are in. Follows the factory route for the most part. It's a touch longer, but it is in and looks pretty good. So we're gonna start bleeding the brakes now. Brakes are all bled, everything looks good. New fluid in it from front to back everywhere, so that'll help. And now it's time to get the wheels and tires back on. But we're not putting those on. Maybe you remember from some of my previous videos, but I went and got these all mounted and balanced. So we're gonna get these on. Let's check it out. All right, so as if you followed some of my other videos in the past, you may recognize these. These are some wheels that I picked up for dirt cheap, and I use them. I bought them just for the center caps for my other appliance wire wheels that are on my black 98. But these are actually the older style. These are called the Roto-Lug setup on these. So these actually had a barrel, offset barrel basically that would thread onto your lug nuts, and then that would line up with these big holes here, and then line up these big holes here, and then there was actually a big lug nut cap that went over that, and so that would allow these to fit 5 by 4 3/4 or 5 by 5 bolt pattern. Those, you can't get them anymore. They don't make them anymore. They weren't really that great to begin with, and so now I got these from Lug Nut Guys, and so these are a washer, an eccentric offset washer, and the lug nut that goes with it. So these will allow me to line these up with the 5 by 5 bolt pattern. So I don't know, I did try this a little bit on a old brake drum, or a brake rotor off of my other car, and so I know it kind of works, but that was just setting the wheel on it and doing that. So I haven't tried to put it on a car yet, trying to hold it and, you know, align everything. So this may be a treat. So let's give this a try. So it should go in there like that, and the lug nut will go around. And so get all 5 of these. These are not super easy to work with, I'll tell you that. But they're far better than the Rotolug original setup on them. So we'll make do. So far, they don't seem too bad. Now, mind you, I'm gonna end up pulling these all off again because I don't have access to get to my rear axle seal right now that's leaking. That one don't look very good. Looks a little sketchy. Yeah, no, it's good. Okay. And one more. These were appliance plating. This was their answer to the Unilug wheels that were common at the time. Can definitely see why everybody went to acorn style lug nuts. These things are a pain already, just even trying this. It's not something I want to be messing with on the side of the road, that's for sure. I remember this kind of when I was test fitting these as well, as they end up being very snug against the side of the wheel center board there. Once they get further in. get to this point here, and it's like that step is just not really favorable. They get tight, but they do go. I guess overall, I'd say install isn't too terrible when it's actually on the car. It actually did go a lot easier than I thought it was going to. But I still definitely prefer Acorn lug nuts. Yeah, they are a little snug on that shoulder, but actually they're really not that bad. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that'll work. Now, let's do this. Get this guy in here. Oh, I take my gloves off for this. This is pretty fun. Alright, so these are the hub adapters for the center caps that I got, and it turns out that the set screws for these were just a little bit too short, so I just ran up to the local hardware store and picked up some longer 832 Phillips head screws. I got stainless steel ones, they don't corrode or rust, and used those for the center caps, and they actually worked out really well. Well, that's what we're supposed to end up with, but right now it's not going to work because the set screws aren't long enough for the center cap piece. But I think that is going to look pretty sharp overall. So, yeah, I guess we work on getting some longer set screws. Well, there it is. What do you think of the new shoes on it? Of course, this side doesn't look as good. This side hasn't been repainted yet. I think that looks pretty slick. That looks sharp. Brakes are done. Wheels and tires are on. Hey, plates and insurance. This thing's ready to roll. Well, I just got back from the first drive. I didn't go very far, just maybe a couple miles down the road. It actually dries really well. Do have a couple issues though. Number one, it smokes bad. It did clear up as I drove it, but it still smokes pretty bad, and it has a ton of blow-by. This thing has blow-by like you would not believe. So we're gonna have to wait and see if the rings come around in this, but for now, it's just kind of is what it is. It smokes real bad. So, but then I have another problem that happened, and that is back here. So I noticed that this brake, this is the one that has the bad axle seal, so I haven't fixed that yet. I was just trying to see how it drove. But this brake is dragging bad. Almost sounds like the hardware came loose in there. So I'm gonna have to pull that wheel off and check it out. But then of course, as I'm sitting here trying to, you know, push it back and forth and rock it, I come back to the bumper back here to rock it, and damn it. Yeah. So you can see the actual aluminum in there, the main bumper support. It has completely came apart. She gave up the ghost. She's done. So now I gotta find another piece for that. So yeah, wonderful. On the positive side though, look how quick it fires up now. Just tap that key, but let me show you that blow-by. Yep. Till next time.